My name is Kirk Wykowski. I am the corporate chef from Michigan State University Culinary Services. And so today we're going to have some fun. We're going to make a simple coleslaw and we're going to make some pulled pork. A great barbecue food, as well as something to take to a tailgate. First of all, we're going to make a vinaigrette-based coleslaw. So it's not going to be that creamy style. It's going to be more vinegar and a little bit of oil. Obviously, the first thing we're going to start with is good old cabbage. And this is what we don't want to be in there. And then what we're going to want to do is, and now you can go really slow because you want to try and keep it as thin as possible. So now we got our coleslaw made up, and then we're going to make our dressing for the coleslaw. And we've got some Dijon mustard, apple cider vinegar, and some canola oil, just some simple vegetable oil. Now it doesn't look like a lot, but one thing that happens as soon as we get some salt on the cabbage and the seasoning with the cabbage, water is going to come out of it. So it may not look like a lot of sauce to go on your coleslaw, but you'd be surprised after about a half hour, it's gonna have some nice consistency to it. Now we're gonna put some other fun ingredients in here. Got good red onion, and when we're making something, we want to make sure that we try and have at least 3 colors in the dish. We eat with our eyes, so it's always nice to see some color and some different colors. You don't want all white, white, and white. It's not gonna be very appetizing. So we're just gonna take a red onion and we're gonna julienne it up. In there, and then we're going to take a carrot. So you got about a half a cup of red onion in there, and then we're going to just take our cheese box grater. You're looking for about a quarter of a cup of carrot. And we've got some cilantro, 2 tablespoons of cilantro. Now we're going to just kind of mix everything up. I'm just going to lightly season it with some salt and pepper. We don't want to go too much. We can always add a little seasoning at the end, so just lightly season right now. And you can see the glisten that's kind of on the cabbage already. Some of that water is already starting to come out of the cabbage. And what we're going to do is just cover this up, put it in the refrigerator for about a half hour before we want to do it. You can probably even hold it up to about 3 or 4 hours, so you can make it up maybe the night before or early in the morning when you're going to be going to the tailgate or before the big game. And while this is kind of hanging out, we're going to get our pork out. We're going to season up our pork. Everybody. Now, this is the main part of the dish. This is the pork shoulder, or the Boston butt. It doesn't come from that, it actually comes from the pig's shoulder. It's got a nice piece of fat on it. You can get this from pretty much any meat market. You're gonna see that it's kind of pulling away because we've had the bone cut out of it. Some of them are bone in, and that's fine. Some people like that. It's just easier to work with without the bone. And what we've got here is our pork rub, per se. Chili powder, paprika, brown sugar, cayenne, onion powder, granulated garlic, some curry, salt, pepper, and a couple other little seasonings. And what we're going to do is take a couple of tablespoons, season it up. Always cook it with the fat cap up, because as that pork cooks, we're going to cook it for kind of low and slow for quite a few hours. And as that starts to break down, that's going to kind of drip through and go through the pork and kind of help with the flavoring of it. You just take a piece of parchment paper. This helps kind of seal some of those liquids in. Also, it helps not have that pork get in contact with any tin foil. So we just season this up. And if you're going to cook this at home, you can cook it in your oven Cook it at about 300 degrees, and you're gonna wanna cook it low and slow for at least about 5-6 hours. So we got our oven preheated, ready to go. Just gonna set that in there. Leave it for a couple hours and we'll come back and see it. Okay, so now we're back to the oven after it's been in for quite a few hours. We're gonna pull it out. And you're gonna see a lot of liquid in there, and that's just the pork kind of cooking down. And then this is the fat that we're gonna pull away and discard. And this is perfectly cooked pork, like literally just falls right apart. So now we've got our pork seasoning, our rub, and what we're gonna do is take another tablespoon and a half of that rub and season the pork again because we want to re-season it, bring out some flavors. We're going to take some of this liquid because we don't want the pork to dry out. We're going to take some of this liquid, a nice half a cup, and we don't want the fat to be in there, we just want the liquid. And then we've got our barbecue sauce that we've got made up. We're gonna pour a cup of barbecue sauce on. Just kind of work it in. Okay, so now we're ready to put our sandwiches together. We got Tim Bograkis from the Alumni Association stopping by. He's gonna have one of these great sandwiches, tell us what he thinks. To basically put it together, you lightly grill up your bun. More Carolina style, we got our pork kind of pulled apart. And then we've got our coleslaw that's been sitting. There you go, Tim. Enjoy.
It's worth the trip to the south side of the end zone to get one of those.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Delicious.